Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is a super exciting time in the precious metals markets. This is Christopher Aaron. It is February 20th, 2020. We are seeing these markets really move in front of our eyes right now. I want to especially focus on silver in this video. We will also look at the silver miners a little bit. And I want to tell you, as much as this has been an exciting market already, there is a specific level that I am watching that you should focus on for silver, where things are going to go from a little bit exciting to a lot more exciting and very rapidly. So I want to define that level for you here in this video so you know what to watch for over the next couple of weeks. Let's start in the best way possible, not by throwing out a lot of pie in the sky figures and claims. Oh no. Let us start by looking at the actual market, the actual data. That's what we do here. We are looking at gold and silver, slightly different way. We usually look at them separately. Let's look at the intra-week, the past 3 days here, one on top of the other. Now, something should be very obvious to you from looking at these two charts just to start off here. And that is, let me draw this little line here on the silver chart. Now, go back up to gold. Now, take a look at how gold has been making higher and higher peaks every day of this whole week, right? Silver, however, has been stuck below this $18.40 line right here for the last 3 days. Now notice, every time silver tries to peek its head above this level, it gets smashed back down, smashed back down, smashed back down. If I've ever seen a concerted effort to keep silver below a specific level, it is right here. I mean, we see no less than 7 occasions here over the last 48 hours in which someone or something is saying, you are not allowed, right now anyway, to rise and close above $18.40. Now, just as a little interlude, you know, if you've been watching this for a while, that I'm rather agnostic about who is actually behind these things. Not from a bigger picture perspective, but more from a practical perspective. It's like this. It's like, look, what does it really matter? Yeah, we can have a lot of stories that we tell ourselves and we tell our friends, but the bottom line is we want to try to make money in these markets and we want to have a fair sense of where these markets are actually going to be moving. So I'm sure there's manipulation in this market. I'm also sure that there's legitimate buyers and sellers in this market. It's neither either or, it's all of the above. And so I think the best place to find the answer to all of the above is by studying what's actually happening. Now, one way or another, we can see that someone does not want silver above $18.40 right now. Why is that? Let us take a look at the bigger picture for silver. Everything here is going to have a color to it. We were just looking at this tiny little box for perspective. We were looking at the last week, and now we are looking at the last 6 years. Here's what is happening in silver. Here's why someone does not want silver rising and closing above this level. Let's take a look at the most obvious points that we should be paying attention to here for silver. This is a big one going back to 2003, this magenta, pinkish magenta color over here so that it's really bright and really easy to see. This is the trend going all the way back to 2003. So it's important that we're still above that trend. That's good to see. The most important thing after that is this level that we're looking at right here. And I'm calling this a trigger point. And we're looking at these two dashed black lines here. We're talking about, this is a zone between roughly $18.30 and $18.60 US per ounce, spot prices. Notice the number of times that silver has been unable to close above this level. I'm not talking about these intra-week spikes and then reversals. I'm talking about closes. Silver has been unable to close above 1860 now for 3.5 years. And we're talking 1, 2, 3, almost 4, 5, 6, they're 7, 8. They're all bunched in here together. But if you notice, they're distinct attempts here. 9, 10, 11. This is, we're talking a dozen attempts now over the last 3.5 years to close above this level. Why is this so important? When we have a level like this, it's a zone. When we have a zone like this that is being respected so clearly by the market, what's happened, if you think about it, this is like, the beach ball analogy is pretty good. You think about holding a beach ball underwater. The longer you hold it under, the more you suppress something, the longer you hold it under, what happens? When you finally release it, it's got all this pent-up energy, right? It blows higher, blows out of the water. You think about other things. You think about, and this is why I'm not so pessimistic, by the way. A lot of people go down this woe is me, doom and gloom thing about, oh, they're coming to get us, the powers that be are out to get us. And it's like, you know what? The more that they try, if there is a they, the more that they may try to suppress our potential energy as human beings, the more that it just builds up, and the more that when we finally release it, it's going to be an explosion in the positive direction. That's what I believe. And so that's why I'm not afraid of any of this manipulation stuff or attempts to suppress our potential. Anyway, I'll get off that. Let's get back to the chart here. So what's going to happen is that when we break, if we break above $18.60, this level right here is going to serve as a trigger point for a much more rapid move than this kind of grinding consolidation that we've seen for the last 3.5 years. So the pattern that is taking shape right now, if you really look at this, we talked about this about a month ago. We have these kind of swoops, these swoop down and back up to this level. Again, the bigger one here, and now a right formation happening here. And we're calling this a left shoulder and a right shoulder, and we're calling this bigger part here, this bigger swoop, the head. All this is it's a term. It's a description for what we're seeing. And if you just use your imagination and you think about this for a moment, and you just imagine a human being hung upside down, hung from his feet upside down, you would see a left shoulder and a more prominent head and a right shoulder, with a neckline right here. So in this kind of pattern, the neckline is the trigger point, and there is a reason for this. But here's what we expect when this $18.60 level is broken above on a weekly close. There is going to be something that we have to do here first, is we have to measure the amplitude of the head. If this is getting boring, just hold on for a minute. You're going to see what's about to happen here. We have a $4.70 amplitude here between the lowest point of this correction and the upper close here that we had back in 2017, this trigger point. $4.70 amplitude. When we break $18.60, there is going to be an initial surge up to this $19.50 level on the highest probability basis. We will most likely not break this on the very initial time. We will back off for a couple of weeks. I don't think it will be that long. And then we will surge again. We will surge toward the 2016 high, this $21.25 level. Similarly, we will not break through this immediately. I think the price of silver will back off from anywhere from 1 to 2 months. I don't think this is going to be as severe as some people think it will be, because clearly this is the 3.5-year resistance here, not this. This was only resistance here for a couple of weeks, whereas we have 3.5 years of energy pent up here. So I think after a little back off here at $21.25, silver will move higher to its target. How do we calculate targets for this pattern, which is called an inverse head and shoulders pattern? We take the amplitude, we take the pent-up energy that we have here, which represents captured short traders. These are short people. They were thinking the price of silver was going to keep going lower. They were wrong, and now they're caught on the wrong side of this market. We take the amplitude of that and we add it on to the breakout point, and this gives us a target up here slightly off the chart of $23.30. $4.70 added on to the breakout point of $18.60. This is what I think is coming for silver, and here I'm showing it by the third quarter of this year. But if we get this breakout, I actually think this could happen a lot sooner. I think this could take only 2 or 3 months. We could be talking about late April, early May to get to this $23.30 level. This is going to be what I expect officially from silver if and only if we can get this weekly close above $18.60. And ladies and gentlemen, where are we right now? I have the market open in front of me. This was produced a few minutes ago. We're actually approaching 1850 right now. We're getting closer and closer. We need to see the weekly close, and then this triggers this pattern. And this is going to move quite quickly when it happens on a highest probability assessment. I do not know the future. I make calculations based on probabilities and based on observable evidence. And those probabilities align us with the future in a way that can be profitable. Let's talk about that. One of those profit opportunities that we had just 2.5 months ago, if you go back in the archives, we talked about this. This company called Impact Silver. This is a silver mining company. It derives over 90% of its revenues from the price of silver. So it's very leveraged to silver. If you go back into the archives of this channel, I made a video right here on December 5th telling people I think we're getting close to a significant bottom in silver. And if so, I think Impact Silver is a company that is going to do very well into this next move. So let's update this. If you bought shares in Impact Silver the day after I recommended it, you would have bought right here at 34 cents per share. These are Canadian dollars. You can convert this to US. You would have bought right here the next day at 34 cents. And where are we right now? 53 cents. Let's talk about these metrics here. That is for silver, just below 17 to right now 1840 as we're talking. That is an 8% move for silver bullion. And congratulations if you bought Impact when I suggested it. I don't tell people what to do. I tell people what I'm doing and what they might want to consider. You're all individuals. You have to make your own decisions. But congratulations if you did that, because you are now up 55% in the last 2.5 months alone. And think about this. This is all silver below that $18.60 level. What if we start moving toward those targets that I'm talking about? What if we break 1860 and we start moving to, 1950, 20, 21, and 23? What do you think is going to happen to this? So if you took that suggestion back then, a few weeks ago, and you invested, let's say, $1,000, you would have made $550 already. Let's say you invested $5,000 on that suggestion. You would have made $2,500 already in just 2.5 months. This is the power of these companies, that they can leverage the prices in silver. So think about this for a moment. If this is one pick that's done this, I want to tell you something. Am I saying that Impact Silver is still a good company? Yes, I am. However, is it going to be the best performing company over the next surge? Maybe, maybe not. I will tell you this. I do not recommend chasing companies that have already had moves like this. Generally speaking, the idea is don't chase, just replace. This is what we want to do as investors. We do not want to chase the high flyers. And I'm telling you this. You've just seen this work. Once again, congratulations. I always say congratulations to people if they have profits in the markets. But you do not, if you're just starting with this, you do not want to be placing all of your capital into a company that has just moved 55% higher in 2.5 months. And I'm telling you, we have companies that we have identified here that are going to be the next ones to have those 55 or 100% moves, are the types of things that I think is coming over the next several months. Think about that. If silver goes to that $23.30 range that I'm talking about, there are going to be other companies like that. They are not being looked at by the market right now. We are doing intense research into these companies for Precious Metals Intelligence. This is our premium service. And you can learn about all the companies that we are investing in right now, the ones who have not moved yet. That is the key. Guys, let's get back to silver. Let's talk about it. What was the trigger level that we were talking about? $18.60. Watch this very close. This could happen tonight. This could happen in the overnight hours in Asia tonight. Friday morning in Hong Kong. This could happen at the end of the day tomorrow. This could be one of those Sunday night, Monday morning kind of things next week. This is an exciting time. I'm someone I really like to study the markets very closely when they're moving like this. So I spend a lot of time taking notes and studying the charts when this is happening. I feel thankful to be alive in a day like today when we have access to all this information. But this is a time to really study and take notes about what is happening. Because trust me, if you're an investor and you want to be doing this for your entire life, if you don't just see this as, this is the one time in my life that I have an opportunity. But if you see this as, hey, I want to be an investor in this market for the next 10 years, 20 years, I have my whole career ahead of me, study it now so you learn now. You prepare yourself for the future. This is a good time to be doing that. We issue this service called Precious Metals Intelligence. This contains videos like you are seeing right now, but much more in depth even. This Monday coming up, you do not want to miss this. A 1 hour plus premium subscriber update covering not just silver in this format, but gold, the US dollar, the US stock market, the mining sector, as well as any updates on those mining companies that we are buying and selling here. You get all that in this one service. Think about it. If you had just put $1,000 into Impact Silver, you've already made the yearly fee and then some for this service. So you could just take that, invest it into the service, and have a year of this analysis coming right to you. If you didn't invest in Impact Silver, think about the opportunities that are still coming only if, I cannot guarantee anything, I want to be clear about that, but if we get that break above $18.60, I think this market takes on a trajectory that we have not seen in over 3.5 years. It's going to be pretty exciting. If you would like to speak to me one-on-one, I work with individual clients from across the spectrum. I understand if this is too basic for you, if you're an advanced trader and we've just spent 10 minutes here talking about one pattern, I understand that. There's dozens of patterns out there. We have to be looking at all of this stuff. If you'd like to speak to me about that, please know you can reach me on the Consultations tab. Similarly, if this is just, too much, if it's too much technical jargon for you, and you'd like to talk about an individual strategy that's more real world, about various forms of gold and silver, what are the pros, what are the cons of various forms, I can work with you on that too. You get to speak to me one-on-one by the individual consultations. No matter what you do, make sure to hit the big red subscribe button right now. This is going to be a very volatile and exciting period. I think the next 1 to 3 months are going to feature price swings that we have not seen in the last 3.5 years. So make sure to hit subscribe so you will get notified when these videos are posted. And last but certainly not least, thank you to those supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to leave a little tip or something to that extent for these videos, you're watching the 1860 level. If you see the trigger, if you've made some money in Impact Silver and you'd like to show your support for these videos, I say thank you. I will see you this time next week. It's an exciting time, so I'm going to try to produce another video next week. Until then, enjoy following these markets.